With day one of free agency now in the books, the Arizona Cardinals have made some very interesting moves. But nothing more intriguing than signing Mack Wilson Sr., former New England Patriot. Today we're going to dive into, can he potentially be that Swiss Army knife that Isaiah Simmons couldn't? And why this might be a sneaky / underrated pickup for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. We are in the thick of things of free agency frenzy. Just got done with day one and we are heading into day two. And of course, we are doing some homework on the new players that's going to be suited up as an Arizona Cardinal. Today, we're going to be focusing on linebacker Mack Wilson Sr. Now, before we get started, I want to do a real quick recap of what the Cardinals have done so far with the new players that have been brought in from free agency frenzy. Day one, the Arizona Cardinals end up signing Justin Jones, a defensive tackle. We also double dipped and got another defensive tackle in Bilal Nichols. The Arizona Cardinals ended up getting a cornerback one for their defense and signing Sean Murphy Bunting. Now I'm very curious to figure out where your guys' thoughts on these four new players for the Arizona Cardinals. Definitely let me know here in the comments below. I know there's some Arizona Cardinal fans out there that are very upset that we weren't able to get those big names like Christian Wilkins. If you really think about it, the Arizona Cardinals paid four players for the price of what Wilkins can go for. And I get it, right? Wilkins is seen as a dominant player and can very well work out for the Raiders. But right now, we do have players on 3-year deals that Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon truly feel like they're going to have potential to be great players for the Arizona Cardinal defense. Now, we said this before last year where it seemed like we definitely had the heart, but we were missing talent. Now that we're bringing in talent in here, and some might say mid-talent, honestly, at the end of the day, we really can't judge these guys until we actually see them on the field. They might actually surprise us. Now, let's go and dive into what we're all here to talk about here, right? And that is going to be linebacker Mack Wilson Sr., former New England Patriot, and the Arizona Cardinals ended up getting him on a 3-year deal. Now, that definitely seems to be the trend for the players that we've been bringing in, right? Somewhere around the lines of $7 to $10 million, maybe even sub $7 million is the kind of players that we're bringing in here. And we've heard this report before that we're going to be bringing in mid-level players that could potentially be a staple point for our defense. And with the amount of holes that we had on this defense, it definitely makes sense. But honestly, Mack Wilson Sr. might be one of the most intriguing players that we brought in to the Arizona Cardinals defense. And I'm really excited to see what JG and Nick Rallis is going to be able to do with him. Now, this guy is 26 years old, so still very young, 6'1", 246 pounds. Last year, he had a total of 24 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Now, before we get into what I really like about him, one big concerning thing to me, or I guess I really wouldn't call it a concerning thing, but it doesn't seem like Mack Wilson Sr. was a bona fide starter for the New England Patriots. So if you're taking a look at the snap counts here, and this is actually something that also continued here in the 2022 season as well. So he spent 2 years with the New England Patriots, 2022 and 2023, and it definitely seemed like Mack Wilson Sr. has been used very sporadically and not very consistently, right? And if you look at the snap counts, obviously it seemed like it favored Bentley and Tavai more than anything, but Mack Wilson Sr. has been used, and we've seen some highlights of him in 2023 and then 2022, and I really do like what we've seen. And if you're really looking at the stats, like, I'm very curious to figure out, like, what if he gets a workload of 50%, 75%, right? What is his numbers really truly going to look like? So I'm really excited to see what the potential of Zach Wilson Sr. can be, because he wasn't used very much, but I also do kind of want the Arizona Cardinals to use him exactly like the New England Patriots, not in terms of snap count, but the way that the usage has been made, right? Now, we made a comment in the intro of this video that Mack Wilson Sr. could potentially be the guy that's Isaiah Simmons couldn't be, right? Now, when we got Isaiah Simmons, he was promised and sold to us as a Swiss Army knife, a guy that can play safety, a guy that can play edge, a guy that can play middle linebacker, right? But it almost kind of felt like this guy was always lost everywhere we gave him the opportunity to shine, right? He was always one step behind and didn't have the instincts, and it didn't really work out with the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, we ended up trading him away. But the moment we ended up actually signing Mack Wilson Sr., it actually kind of gave me a little bit of, hey, this guy can potentially be that Swiss Army knife, right? Especially looking at his highlight tape and his highlight reel, and in terms of what he's been doing and how he's been used, right? Now, we've heard that he actually plays primarily Mike linebacker, and obviously there's going to be kind of a interesting storyline to figure out who's going to be that Mike linebacker. Is it going to be Mack Wilson Sr. or is it going to be Kazir White? I personally think it should stay Kazir White, but that's just my opinion on the matter. But with Mack Wilson Sr., he does give you the ability to use him any which way you possibly can, right? He was used actually in special teams. He was used as a outside linebacker slash spy, and he was actually used as a middle linebacker as well. Now, when I look at the way this guy plays, this guy gives me a feeling of he doesn't give up on tackles, and that's something that I absolutely do love, because obviously Isaiah Simmons had a problem with tackling, right? And not just that, our whole entire defense last year had a problem with solidifying tackles and making sure that that guy actually was brought down. But looking at the tape of Mack Wilson Sr., whenever he got the opportunity, he was a tackling guy, right? He made sure that when you got hit by him, you were going to go down, right? Now, looking at his highlights, he really does have the instincts that I feel like Isaiah Simmons lacked, right? Now, one thing that we mentioned before is that you can have the stature, you can have the attributes, you can have the body of being an athlete, but if you don't have that instincts, that's something that you can't teach, or something that you can't learn. I guess you can technically learn it, but you're kind of born with it at the end of the day, right? And I think Mack Wilson Sr. does have that instincts within him in terms of being able to make those plays, right? And sometimes he actually just jumps up and makes sure he bats a ball down, right? And that's with him playing that middle linebacking role. And sometimes I've actually seen him, commit to one side, but come right back to the left side and make that tackle whenever necessary. So I really do like what I've seen from Mack Wilson Sr. At the end of the day, this might be the most interesting, intriguing, exciting player that I feel like the Arizona Cardinals have actually brought in. It's just, are we going to give him the opportunity, right? Are we going to give him the opportunity to shine? Because I don't think the New England Patriots really truly gave him that opportunity to shine in terms of being a staple point for the defense. I hope the Cardinals do that, right? We got him a 3-year contract, and I think that should be enough to plug and play him, right? In terms of what are we going to do with him? How are we going to use him? I hope the Arizona Cardinals can turn on the tape and see this guy's highlight reel, because what we've seen, or what I've seen, I truly do like the moment that he's used as an outside linebacker. He sees a quarterback come out, he peels off and just tackles him. He's got the speed. He can play spy. He can play middle. He can play anything. He can play special teams. This guy looks to be the real deal, in my opinion, looking at him with the highlight reels that we've been seeing so far. So I really, really do like what we've seen from him, and I'm so curious to figure out how he's going to be used in this Arizona Cardinal / Nick Rallis / Jonathan Gannon defense in the end of the day, because he's got the tools, he's got the attributes. Is he going to get the opportunity is the bottom line at the end of the day, because like I said earlier, with the minimal amount of snap count that he's had in 2023, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, let me see what this man can do with 75% of snap counts per game. I'm so excited to figure out if this guy can be the real deal, opposite side of Kazir White. Maybe they switch. Maybe they don't switch. Maybe he's used as an outside linebacker every once in a while, right? We don't truly know, but the idea of his versatility and being able to do those things is very, very a good thing for our Arizona Cardinal defense. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is I actually reached out to somebody who covers the New England Patriots to try to see if I can get a little insight on Mack Wilson Sr., and this is exactly what he said. Apparently, during the last offseason, he bulked up and added a ton of muscle, which translated significantly. He was a really fast guy with sideline to sideline speed, but was too small to make an impact as an edge defender and got lost in defending the run. After he put on that weight, it was like a light switch. The Pats really didn't utilize him much because they viewed him more as a third down linebacker. During his 2 seasons in New England, he only played 20 to 29% of the defensive snaps, but played 60 to 69% on special teams. He got a lot better against the run, held up in coverage, but was a really good edge defender who could come in exclusively on third downs to rush the passer. So it almost kind of seems like in 2022, not very good, but in 2023, when he added the weight, he almost kind of made him seem a more valuable weapon, because he was able to come off the edge with power and speed, right? Now, another little nugget out there is that the Patriots actually wanted to bring him back because of the production that he ended up giving them this last year, but I don't think they were able or willing to match what the Arizona Cardinals were going to provide to him. So the Arizona Cardinals ended up getting Mack Wilson Sr. on a 3-year deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts here on Mack Wilson Sr.? Let me know here in the comments below. I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cards.